How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lo4f, and today I'm going to go and do a contract called Way to Success. That's why we've got plenty of loaves available. Yeah, I'm going to go and take Dan for this one because I wanted to use him the other day, but I didn't really have like the right setup and everything. Yeah, it's in the middle set of contracts, this one, and it's kind of following on from the movie set thing. The trailer that is here that I did from a previous mission. There now is the time to move it, kind of wind up this mountain road. Yeah, there's another movie set up here. So in theory, a pretty simple mission, to be honest. Like, it's going to be highway driving, kind of all the way from the garage to where I get the trailer. And then, yeah, kind of, even the off-roading wasn't too crazy, but yeah, I just fancied taking this truck out, and I thought, worst case, I wanted kind of, I didn't want to get too trolled by the terrain and all the rest of it, where it's going to force me to go like 0.1 mile an hour. And yeah, it's been a while since I've taken this truck out, and yeah, painted yellow because it's a submarine truck, so yellow submarine. Couldn't help myself. Bit of interior view. I was wondering, like, what does that dial mean? I was like, oh yeah, shit, I'm driving. Thankfully, I didn't actually smash into anything this time. Tried to hit the horn, hit the wrong button. Change camera view. You don't really get much air in this, but it didn't catch his chin. And yeah, the truck is actually pretty damn solid these days. It always has been. I remember when I believe this is either the Tatrim was the first, but like I didn't even know what I was doing as far as gameplay and reviews videos go. So that's kind of like before it had a bit of a consistent format. I think I was going all over the place. It was either that truck or this was like the first review, and I remember doing the review on this, and I was sort of roasting it a bit and being a bit harsh all the way through the review, and then yeah, towards the end I was like, do you know what, I've come to the conclusion that I like the truck. So yeah, and then since then they have like fixed things with it. I think that its front bumper doesn't catch as much. You're still obviously going to hit your chin and catch, but I'm sure it was this they as well. They like just stopped it being as ridiculous, where like the colob was the same as well. And then yeah, it's got the raisable suspension now as well, so you can actually lift the chin a little bit higher off the ground. And yeah, power wise it's very good. Attachments wise it's not bad. It's that like axle thing you can see behind the cab that kind of blocks, say, where the crane would go, really. That's why it's not got a normal one. But yeah, since I've added that multi-purpose cargo bed thing going on, it's a single cargo bed, but it can actually fit the low things. He's goddamn professional. And yeah, now it has got a crane, but it's a very heavy setup as well. I believe that multi-purpose thing is like the newest, heaviest add-on in the game, because yeah, it sinks the suspension more than that fuel tanker. So I didn't really want to run that for no apparent reason. I was driving like, it just reminds me again, I was working for that guy and he ran a bin over at a good 60 miles an hour, and still can't quite get across how far this bin flew. Oh yeah, as well, while I was driving, I didn't want to go back and check because it was about now-ish, probably a little bit sooner, probably just before I ran over the bin, when I realised, I mean, I've only got 5 gears. And I was thinking, like, I'm sure, has this got an advanced special? Is it supposed to have 6? And then I couldn't remember, maybe I've didn't upgrade the gearbox. When I found it in the garage though, it had like the top engine and all the rest of it, so I feel like I went through the list. I must have upgraded something. Yeah, but I don't know. I just didn't want to go back to the garage. I was like, sod it. After going along this road, it's not really going to matter anyway. It's even little things like just shoving that Phoenix out of the way. A lot of trucks might notice that a bit. Dan, he didn't care. It's funny as well, because like now I've unlocked this mission. Obviously before this mission that trailer was kind of locked solidly in place, and even though I've activated this mission, I assume once you complete the previous mission to unlock this one in this set of contracts, that this trailer suddenly becomes freed up. Yeah, because as I said last time, when I parked it there, it kind of locks it solid and you can't reattach like the saddle or anything. And in theory, like, the loaf was going to be stuck on the top. Obviously now I could unpack him. There's just bloody loafs everywhere. It's like, oh my god, my bad loaf. Let me clip him. There's another one sat on the bore. Told you, it's Way to Success, you see. That's the name of the contract, it knew. There's my Ford Clip 9000. That was what I used to actually bring the trailer. Typical hanging on. I assume it's crane legs. We've got a bit stuck, see? Into a movie start, and we just got clips trying to stick to the outside of your trailer. As well, it didn't even fold the trailer in. Like, yeah, the first part, when you deliver the trailer, once you get there, it kind of folds all the sides out. The roof came up as well, which I wasn't too happy about because the loaf was kind of sat on it at the time. Yeah, I don't know if it's like a bug, I don't really care either way, but the trailer kind of remains fully extended. That's what she said. Yeah, now we're getting to a bit of off-roading, which this is why I kind of got a feeling there should be 6 gears, so I'm assuming I've not put the right gearbox in, or just didn't even upgrade it in the first place. But yeah, ticking along now, I mean, this is like, it's a very good truck. The only thing it used to suffer on is like, I suppose it still does, but because they added the raised suspension, it's just averaged out where it's like, it doesn't cause an issue that much, but it's a lot of truck all the way out on those on the front axle. Yeah, when you think like the 2 rear axles quite near the back. So yeah, it's a lot of weight sitting on there, and it used to just driving along. It probably still does, like, it bobbed the chin up and down a lot, and I think that's one thing that back when I did the review on this, that used to then, it just, even as you're driving along it, just, yeah, get into a rhythm where it's kind of bouncing up and down quite a lot, and then it starts scuffing its chin and killing all your momentum and everything. But yeah, these days it's very solid, as you can see. I'm in high gear, ticking along nicely, which I'm most likely going to mean a high gear regardless, hence why. Even if I did forget to equip a 6th gear, we'll be fine. I don't even need to look where I'm going. I can just predict. The power of the loafs. We'll get there. Did you know what as well? Well, before I was even filming this, there's a kind of shop thing near me that's got a ridiculously loud alarm, and it is like, it's ruthlessly loud. Yeah, and that was going off. It went off in the morning at like 4 in the morning for about half an hour, 40 minutes, something like that. To the point where I was thinking, like, I won't be able to do a video because recording, you'll just hear this loud screeching alarm in the background. And then it stopped. And then just as I was getting ready to get everything sorted, it started again, and it was going off for, I don't know, another probably 3/4 of an hour to an hour. Yeah, thankfully, just before I started, well, like, it was just before anyway, but it was to the point where I'm editing and everything, it's like I can't record until that stops. Yeah, thankfully, like a couple of minutes before I was ready to go, it did. I'll quit now, Dan. Stick in the high gear, we will not let this rock stop us from our good times. Again, the loaf, just need a bit of encouragement. Yeah, that bloody Derry 15C thing, whatever. Stuck in the trees, yeah, don't want to be using that again anytime soon. They really do. There's like, they just need to boost some trucks up a bit, really. Derry feels, yeah, underpowered. The Burlak, which feels terrible. I've tried to like it, but I don't want to. Yeah, it's even now along these snowy bits. I've been along here before. It's kind of boggy. You'll see now. I do get, but I quite like this. This feels like quite a organic place and way to get stuck or whatever. I was driving along, I was just waiting, I wasn't even paying full attention because I was kind of thinking, oh, I best save the footage just in case I'd gone far enough to where I'll start losing it. Yeah, very conveniently kind of drove into here and it sank in pretty well, got stuck pretty convincingly, so saved the footage, stuck a winch to the front of the dam to that tree. And then I was actually steering left more than it looks, but essentially when I drove forward, I basically just followed the lines in the mud I'd just dug into the ground, and yeah, basically went the same way. So I figured, yeah, thankfully they've got trees around, and again, I like this sort of stuff. Yeah, like, this is the sort of stuff I like in the game. It's when the game decides that there's a tree the size of a twiglet on the floor, like a stick, and yeah, and then it'll stop your truck dead, or just, yeah, little things that feel completely unrealistic. That's the bugs I've been getting recently. But yeah, this mission's actually a pretty cool little mission, and again, definitely recommend. That made it pretty simple. I was thinking it was either this or the dolphin I was going to bring out as well. This just worked out one, I wanted to put the saddle low on, but I also wanted to get the loaf on. You can fit a loaf on the Dolphin, but I knew I could fit a loaf on this, and I knew that it's kind of a bit awkward, as in you have to go on a bit of an angle because of the what do you call it, the snorkel on Dan. So yeah, just wanted to make sure you still could. And I mean, he's a goddamn horse for a reason. He squeezed his way on there. I didn't even see that gigantic rock in the middle of the road as I was driving along. When I saw my truck violently flick in the air, I thought, yep, we've hit something. Time to drop the hammer, flee the scene. Prototype trailer. I was wondering now, is it going to kind of ramp me up the back of it and try and tip me over, but it didn't. I was going to say, well, we've got plenty of repairs. I mean, they need to add more roof racks to like the original trucks in the game, because quite a lot of the trucks we get now. Oh yeah, do you know what? I've just realised I need to. They've apparently added a new DLC truck. Do you know what? I need to write something on my phone. I'll just write DLC, so I'll actually remember to go and look after I finish doing this video. Because this is the problem, I always remember stuff when I'm in the middle of something else, and then by the time I've finished what I'm doing, it's gone again. It's, yeah. It does make things pretty long. That's what she said. Yeah, though, this is where you got to take it to, and then, yeah, the weird thing is, when you get there and kind of deliver the trailer, it starts folding it in, as if it's, like, ready to get towed. But yeah, it's a bit late for that. I reversed into it, got it glitched a tiny little second that I did, but it's now stuck in place solidly again. In theory, I believe the loaf is kind of stuck on the roof again. Yeah, so if you have got a loaf on the roof, now's your chance before you do the mission to unpack him if you want him back. And then yeah, I wanted to come and check on the movie set. I wanted to see what this was at the top of the hill that they're all filming. Yeah, it's a crashed plane engine, so I assume this is where you got to bring the trailer from by the lake. Yeah, with the plane on it. Just get me shot. See, making a movie. It's going to be a box office hit. Game let me know. I didn't even honk the horn either. It just randomly flew at me. It's like it should be self-defense at that point. And then yeah, I mean look, this is a loaf training in action. He balanced the other day. He balances all the time because he's goddamn professional. But now he's teaching Dan to do the same. See, and then once you got the shot, so he's good. And he's back down. Speaking of shots, I'm just trying to straddle your meat, but you say just give me a second, and I'm good. We're back, and that sort of made me think, right, we need a loaf. Alakablam! I'll be honest, that sign had absolutely no idea the loaf was going to do that. You see, he makes his turns. Yeah, just because I like driving the loaf, to be honest. He's a goddamn horse. I fancy driving him up to where I've just taken that trailer to. I mean, this is where I swerved off the road onto the off-road. Yeah, with Dan. But I just thought this was like a good example. You see the loaf? He drops the hammer. He's not the fastest vehicle in the game, but he's consistent. That's why he makes pretty good times. I learned that back in the SnowRunner rallying videos, where even I was genuinely surprised. Like on Northport, for example, I was driving from like the garage all the way down to the port, and yeah, I assumed like vehicles like the Dolphin and the Taiga would absolutely wipe the floor with it, but I'm sure it was something like 10 seconds or something. The loaf was like 10 seconds slower. Just because, yeah, all the other trucks, even if they were faster, this, that and everything, they were kind of sometimes be a bit too fast for their own good, understeer, go off the road a bit and all sorts, but the loaf, yeah, it's consistent. You see now, you think he might be a bit slower than the trucks, but he knows shortcuts. Just whips his way up this hill, and there you go. It's probably now quicker than the truck again. And at this point, I started eyeballing the next hill, and I was like, oh yeah, I don't actually quite know where I am at the minute. See that little tree as well? Look at the loaf, bam! Just sends that winch straight past the little tree. Thinks that tree stump is bitch. But yeah, other vehicles would have tried grabbing everything else. That is the actual thing I wanted to grab, and the loaf knew it. And I was like, no, I want this one now. It's my new tree stump bitch. And then yeah, as I was driving along now, I went to go around this like puddle, probably should have gone round to the left, clipped a rock, fired out some panic winches, but we tipped, and it was just a good example of like, see, it says engine stalled, but if it don't start, you ain't turning the key hard enough. So what did you say, Lo4f? That's all I thought. And we're good to go again. See, that's just one of the many reasons he's a goddamn professional. Learned this a while ago. And on the tree, he just got himself back to his wheels. He then assassinated afterwards, which I respect, because I don't want to leave any loose ends. But yeah, as I was driving up here, a couple of things when obviously I do like driving around the Lo4f anyway, but it is a good example of like, this road can be pretty rough, but one nice thing about the Lo4f and Scouts, but I'm just saying the Lo4f, yeah, like when you're driving on the road, like what the game implies is the road, sometimes it can make you go pretty slow, but like here's a good example. You just follow along the edges of the road, and the vast majority of the time they've not coded it to the same degree as they like have done with the roads. And then at this point as well, I could keep going. It was just a little further ahead where I kind of Dan kind of got beached in the mud a bit and had to use the trees to get him out. Well, just invented another shortcut. Never been this way. But you can see the snow starts to slow me down. One, you can fire a winch out, and you keep going at like winch speed. But then I also knew, just had faith that they wouldn't have coded all the snow to be super snow. I just know they wouldn't. They only do it in patches around the road. Like, yeah, you might get bits that are like at the side of the road or whatever. But I had faith. Drop the hammer. You see, a truck. Would a truck get up that? Would it squeeze up that little gap? Only a horse. Sorry if you can hear some annoying loud alarm in the background. Some truck. Why do they have like, when they put their indicators on now, they have a loud voice that says the vehicle is turning left or right or whatever. It's a bit excessive. Yeah, but you see, skirting around the edges. We don't have to drive on that road, and as soon as you do, I just wanted to see for myself. So I drove on the road just before we get there, and as you can see, yep, it starts bogging me down. But you fire a winch out. It's pretty rare that the Lo4f can't reach something with a winch that will, yeah, keep you moving. So here's the old movie set. It's the trailer we just delivered. Turn and circle the housefly. He makes the gap, but the game glitched it. And just one thing, yeah, when I got here, look, almost tipped. It's like, not today game. So I fired out a winch, not even entirely sure what. Two, yeah, pulled up, heard the bad clicking noise, switched to the Dan, and our Lo4f fell off. God knows what happened. Probably Alec Baldwin turned up, thought we were filming a cowboy movie and shot him. It's pretty harsh. But yeah, now I've got Lo4f on the set. See, I can green screen Dan and Lo4f out, because they're yellow. You mix yellow with blue, it goes green. And yeah, Lo4f dressed as a plumber, he's turning up to film porno. Knocks, MILF answers, wants to see his large wrench. And he's good to go. He's a goddamn horse. Get the money shot. Again, you wouldn't even know the Dan is there. He'll just blend into the background. And Lo4f, ever the professional, when the scene's over, honk your horn and he's done. He's retired. But yeah, anyway, I'm just messing around. That's about it for today. Yeah, thanks for watching. I hope that helps, and I'll be back soon.